Hey folks, Sheila here from Design Files. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a simple floor plan using the Design Files floor planner. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is determine which unit of measurement you want to use when you're building out your floor plans. So to do that, you can go into the menu in the top right hand corner, click on Settings, and in your account settings, if you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see an option that says Unit of Measurements. So you can pick imperial or metric. Once you make your selection here, you can go back to your projects and you can kickstart into your designs. So I'm going to click this button to create my first design, and when I do that, it's going to ask me if I want to create a mood board or a floor plan. So I'm going to click into the floor plan option, and that'll take me directly into the floor planner. Now the first thing I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to start building out the basic shell of my floor plan. So there's a few options for you to choose from. You can click on any of these options, click anywhere within the grid, drag out your mouse, and then click again to release. When you zoom in, you'll see the individual measurements on each of these walls. Now, if you need to create something that's a little bit more complicated than just a basic rectangular shape, you can also use the wall tool. Click on that, click anywhere on the grid, and start clicking your way around it to build out a space that matches your client's home. Now, when you're using the wall tool, one of the key things to know is that you do need to close off your floor plan. You cannot leave it open like this. If you leave it open, the system's not going to be able to understand which portion of this space it should fill up with hardwood flooring or carpet without it spilling out into the rest of the grid. So you do need to close off your floor plan, and you'll see a little pink dot indicating to you that your floor plan is currently open. So just go ahead and close it off. And when you've done it correctly, you'll see that your floor plan is going to fill with a light gray color. Now I'm going to delete this one because instead of creating a room like this, what I'd like to do is build one that has a large bay window. So again, I'm going to pop back to this option, and I'm just going to build a basic shape here. And if I want to adjust the measurements on any of these walls, there's a few things that I could do. One, I could click directly on the wall, and then I can click and drag with my mouse to bring this wall up or down. Or I could use the left and right and up down keys on my keyboard to extend this wall 1 inch at a time to get it to the position that I want. Or I could click directly into the measurement field here, and I can just input the measurement that I want for those particular walls. So there's a few ways that you can go about doing it, and you can pick the one that works best for you. So now that I have my basic shape here, I'm now going to add a large bay window to this upper wall here. And to do that, I'm going to click on this wall. And then when I do that, you're going to see a little tooltip appear where I can either delete the wall or I can add a break to the wall. So I'm going to add a few breaks. And once I've added in my breaks, I'm then going to adjust my measurements. So I want this to be about 4'5", and the same on this end. So I'll just move this over 1 inch. And I'm also going to adjust these measurements here. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring this one up as well. And I'm going to adjust this to be about, let's go for 310. Okay, so we'll bring this one back. Okay, so we've got our basic shape here for our large bay window. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the door window and trim library, and I'm going to select windows. And there's a number of options for you to choose from, so you can just find one that you like. And when you're ready, click on that and click directly on the space that you want to put this particular window in. So one thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with your windows, you're going to see a little tag here. That's indicating to you that the windowsill is currently facing in towards the interior of the space. If it was flipped the other way, it would be facing the opposite. So you're going to want to make sure that tag is always facing in. You can then duplicate this window, and you can add it to the other section of the bay window over here. And the other thing that we can of course do is for any of the windows that you add to your floor plan, you can adjust the measurements of it. So you can adjust the distance from the floor, the width, and the height. In this case, I'm going to extend this window a little bit. I just want to increase the width so that it fills up the full bay window area. We'll make it 43 inches, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this one over here. So I'm also going to make this one 43 inches just to fill it out. And then I'm going to go back into the window library, and I'll take this one right here, and I'm going to use it for the large section for the bay window. Now this one's clearly too big for this wall, but that's fine. We're going to place it here, and then again what we'll do is we're going to adjust the width of this particular window so that it does fit the space that I want it to fit within. So we can change this. Let's start with 72 inches here, and I'm just going to bring it down further, and then I'll slide this window into place. And now that I have it in place, I'm just going to pop over into the 3D perspective mode to see what it looks like. So here you've got your main floor plan, which is this view right here. We've got our detailed top-down floor plan as well. And if I click into the last option, it'll go into the 3D perspective mode. So I can see what that window looks like. And it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go back into my floor plan. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a large entrance here, and I'm going to add a doorway here. So we'll go into the library and click on doors. I'll click on the entrance option, and I'm just going to add in my entrance centered in this wall. So when I click on adding the entrance to the wall here, you're going to see the size of the entrance, and you'll also see the dimensions for the size of this wall from the edge of the actual entrance to the edge of this wall. So I'm going to increase this quite a bit. I think I'm going to make that, let's see, 7 feet wide. So we'll put in 84 inches here, and you can see it increase. And now I'm going to go back into the door library, and I'm going to take this door and I'm going to add it to this wall over here. Now again, you'll see the dimensions for the doorway, and you'll also see the dimensions for the wall that is at the edge of the doorway to the edge of this wall here. If I wanted to change up the swing for this door, I'm just going to click these arrows here, and that'll flip it from left to right and in and out of the room. And you can select the door swing that you like. Again, I'll just pop into the 3D perspective mode and see how we're doing here. So it's looking pretty good. And we'll jump back into the floor plan mode now. So now let's say that I want to add an extension here, just a little bit of a wall that's extending out into the space because I'm going to add a fireplace here. So I'm going to go back up to the wall option, and I'm going to click on the wall tool. I'm going to click directly into this wall here, come out a bit, and build out the extension that I'm going to use for this particular fireplace. So you can see that I've got 2'9" here and 4 foot even on this side. If I wanted to center this, I can again just click on the individual walls, and I could move this down 1 inch at a time if I wanted to. So maybe we'll do 3'5" on either side. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the product library. So now we can start building in some actual products. So actually, before we get into the products, I am going to go into the 3D perspective mode, because if you're building out your floor plan, you might also just want to go ahead and build out your 3D rendering at the same time. So let's go into the 3D perspective mode just for a minute here, because in the 3D perspective mode, you're going to be able to add paint, and you're also going to be able to add in flooring and trim. So if I wanted to add crown molding and baseboard to these walls, I can go to the baseboard option here, click on one of the options, click on one of the walls, and then say yes, apply it to all the walls. You can, of course, just apply it to one wall, but for the most part, you can apply it to all the walls here. I'm going to do the same thing for the crown molding and apply it to all the walls. And then I'm going to go into the paint color library. We've got a few brands that you can choose from. You can click into any of these brands, and you can search by specific color name or color code, or you can just browse down and select a color that you like. When you find one, click on it, click on one of the walls, and again, you can apply it to all walls or just the selected wall. Okay. And down here, you can do the same thing for the flooring library. So there's a number of options that you can choose from, and you can either do hardwood or carpet or tile or anything like that. So have a good browse through here. When you find one you like, click on it, click on the flooring, and it'll update for you. But for now, I actually like the color of this floor, so I'm going to keep it. And now I'm going to go into the product library. And again, I'm going to flip back over to the floor plan mode, because I just want to see it from top down so that I'll be able to see exactly where everything is placed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a fireplace to this wall here. So we'll search for a fireplace. There's a number of options for you to choose from. So you can just have a quick look, and when you find one that you like, you can click on it, click anywhere within the floor plan. When you click anywhere within the floor plan, you're going to see a little kind of circular arrow here. That arrow is on the front of the item. So that means that this is the front of the fireplace and that is the back of it. So I'm going to rotate my fireplace this way, and I'm going to place it wherever I want within this wall. Now, once I've added in my fireplace, again, I could choose to adjust the measurements of this fireplace. So if you're trying to match something that your client currently has in their home, you can always adjust the measurements for any of the models that you use within the floor plan. Now I'm going to go ahead and let's look for a dining table. Whoop. Okay, so again, there's a number of options for me to choose from, and I'm going to click on this one right here, and I'm going to add it directly into my floor plan. And I'm going to center it with the bay window up here and center it with the fireplace over here. Now in this case, I'd prefer that this table be let's see here, we're going to make it 4 feet wide, and again I'm going to do 108 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to create the measurements that I want for this particular dining table. And it doesn't matter if it's a product, because whenever you're building out your floor plans or your 3D renderings, there's no product list that is created with it. So your client will not see the shop links for any of these products. This is basically going to be a case where they're just going to see the actual floor plan and they can make their decisions from that. So if you want, you can also create mood board designs where you're showcasing the actual products that you're recommending to your client. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to look for a dining chair. And again, there's a number of options for you to choose from, so you can just scroll through, and when you find one that you like, you can add it to your design. So I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to line it up so that it is centered with the window up here. And again, you can, anytime you add something to your floor plan, you'll see a little tooltip appear where you can delete it or you can duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to slide it over and put it where I want within this design, and I'll duplicate it again and add it to the other side of this table. Then I'm going to do the same thing, bring it down here, and I'm going to rotate it around so that it's facing the table, and we'll duplicate these again. Okay. Now if you wanted to see how far apart these chairs are from each other, one thing you can do is you can use the measurement tool up here, click on that, click on the edge of the chair, and then drag it over and click to the other edge of the chair, and you'll see the distance between the two items. So you can use this tool for any measurement that you want to take. For instance, if you wanted to see how far in this table is to the edge of the wall, again, click on the edge of the table and then click on the wall and you'll see the measurement. If you want to get out of this measurement mode, just click the X and click the X up here, and that'll take you straight back into the regular floor plan mode. Now I'm just going to pull this one down just a smidge because I'm noticing that it's just a little higher. And now let's go ahead and we're going to add in a light fixture. So I'm going to add in a chandelier. Now, anytime you're dealing with light fixtures, you're going to see an additional option. So let's pull out this one right here, and I'm just going to place it centered over the dining table. Now, when I add a light fixture, anytime you're adding any item to your floor plan, it's going to anchor that item to the floor. So if you want this to raise up, you can go over to the right side panel here, and you're going to see an option that says distance from floor. So if I input 60 inches here, when I flip over into the 3D perspective mode, that light fixture is now going to show 60 inches up from the floor. So you can see how you can place it. If it's not in the position that you want, you can click directly on that light fixture, and you can use the up and down arrows here. Just click and drag, and you'll be able to pull that item up and down and place it wherever you want within this design. I'm going to go back into the floor plan mode. And now let's look for an area rug. And because I'm building out my 3D floor plan at the same time, I'm actually going to look for a teal area rug. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so again, number of options to choose from, and you can browse through and you'll be able to just pick one that you like. So I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to rotate that rug so that it's going to line up with my table here. And again, I know that my table is centered with the fireplace and with this window here, so I'm just going to do the same thing. So we'll get that lined up. And when I click off of it, you'll see that area rug starts to shift below all the other items on the floor plan. If I wanted to adjust the measurements for the area rug, I can do that right here. And then you can just continue to bring in items into your floor plan. So let's say I want to look, maybe I want to create like a little seating arrangement up here in the bay window. So maybe I want to look for an armchair. There's tons of options to choose from, so I'm just going to keep scrolling down here until I find one that I like. And let's see here. I had a specific chair in mind, so bear with me. I am a little bit picky when I'm building out my design boards. But you can have a look through. This is the one I wanted. Perfect. So I'm going to bring this out. I'm just going to angle it so it kind of matches the angle of the bay window here. Duplicate that, bring it over. I'm going to do the same thing over here and slide it into place. And then I'll just add a little round side table over here. So we'll look for a round side table. That'll do. Bring this one in, add it into my space here. I'm just going to up this one a little bit, and then I'm going to pop into the 3D perspective mode, and we'll just see what this room's starting to look like. Okay, not too bad. So you can continue to place items within your space, and you can either do that in the 3D mode or you can just do it in the floor plan mode. I know that I started this video creating floor plans, but because the two work in tandem, you can flip back and forth between your 3D and your floor plan to just make sure that everything is lined up the way you want it to be. Now, a couple other things that I'm going to go over quickly with this floor plan tutorial here, because let's say I wanted to add some shelving units here, and then I want to start placing some decorative elements within those shelving units. So let's go ahead and we'll look for a white bookcase. And I'll take this one right here. So again, because the rotation arrow is on this side of the bookcase, that means that this is the front of it. So I'm going to rotate it this way, and then I can slide it into place. And then I'm going to duplicate that, and I'll put another one on this side of the fireplace as well. Now, if you want, you can choose to, let's just go into the 3D perspective mode. If I wanted to, I could increase the width of these bookcases so that they look more like built-ins and they kind of slide into the wall. For now, I'm going to leave them as is. And what I wanted to show you is, let's just look for a decorative box, just something that we can put into the bookshelf itself. So let's see here. This one right here. We're going to place this. Now, when I drag this item out onto the floor plan, you're going to notice that it starts to realize where the surfaces are within the floor plan. So it can see that this is the top of the table. And if I go over to the shelving unit, it's going to notice each individual shelf. So that's going to help you place this item directly within the shelving unit, and it'll make it easy for you to start adding in your decorative elements to build out your overall design. So it's a really handy feature to have. That same feature is going to make it easy for you to add pillows to any of the chairs that you want to fill on or to add pillows to. And also if I wanted to place floral arrangements. So let's do that. Let's add a floral arrangement to this table. Click on this option right here, and I'm going to place it here. Now that's a really small one, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that to pretty much double the size, and we'll build it out. Okay, so you can see that come into place. I'm going to do the same thing for the side table over there. So let's look for an orchid. And just come around here, click on this option, hover over the table. You can see that it found the surface of the table, and click to release it. And there it is. So it's pretty quick and easy to use to build out your floor plans. I'm going to go back to the floor plan mode so you can see everything in here. One of the final tools that I'll go over for this particular floor plan tutorial is the text and label option down here. If for whatever reason you want to just showcase what the measurements are for this particular floor plan, you could go ahead and you can add text. So if I wanted to have a note here that says entrance 7 feet, I can just add that in. Over here, I can adjust the size of the font. I can also adjust the style of the font. I can pick whatever option I want. You can left align, center, right align, or you could bold. You can underline it, you can use italics, and you can change the color as well. So you can add all kinds of notes to your floor plan if that's something that you want to do. It might be a case where you want to add in the measurements so that they're visible when you're sharing this floor plan with your client or with any of your contractors or anything like that. So again, I would just duplicate my note, add it over here. And if I wanted to indicate that this is 6'5" here, again, I'm just going to enter in the text here and say wall 6'5". And you can go ahead and add in your measurements. When you're ready, you can hit save. And when you hit save, the system is going to save 3 visuals for you. It's going to save your floor plan. It'll save the top-down 3D floor plan, and it'll also give you a 3D perspective view as well. Now, what's going to happen is if you don't want the system, or if you don't want to include all 3 of those images within your project, you can of course choose to delete any of the visuals that you don't want, and you can just share the ones with your client that you do want them to see. So let's go back here. Now that that has saved, I'm going to go back to the app, and you can see that it saved all 3. If I wanted to delete one of these, for instance, maybe I just want my client to see just a floor plan and a mood board design, I can pop over to the 3D top down, go into this menu here, and I can delete this design. That way it will not remain in my project. Or if I want to keep that design, but I don't want my client to see it, when I submit the designs to my client, I can just turn the toggle on for just the floor plan or for any of the other designs that I want them to see. Keep the toggle turned off for any designs that you don't want to share with your client. Add their email address in here, add in your personal message, and submit the design to your client. So there you have it. That is the new floor plan tool. Definitely get into your DesignFiles account. Give this new feature a try. I think it's going to be a super helpful tool when you're building out your basic space plans for your client. They'll be able to see everything to scale and see how these items are going to fit within their space. And you can match up the measurements of the items within your floor plan to any of the items that you've added to your mood board design that you're recommending to your client. If you do have any questions at all, just let us know. We're always happy to help.